Hey guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy and welcome to Funk Essentials Level 1. And in this course, we're going to be taking a really deep dive into funk guitar music, okay? And that means tackling two main subgenres, let's call it the kind of James Brown style funk. So let's call it the original funk that was spawned from the blues music. And also we're going to be looking in a more modern kind of disco style funk, disco pop style funk as well. And what that means for us as players is that we're going to really massively develop your right hand technique. We're going to go so deep into that 16th note rhythm pattern that no matter what comes at you, what kind of funky strumming, you're going to be able to handle all of it. As well as that, with our left hand, we're going to be kind of syncing that up so your left and right hand, work perfectly together. We're going to be working on a lot of new chords. So as well as our 9th chords, 13th chords, and chromatics within that, we're going to be also tackling minor 7th chords across the neck. So kind of an evolution of our cage chord systems across the neck with the minor 7th chords, which are so crucial in funk music, as well as hooking that up with the pentatonics, and we're learning how to kind of bubble funk, which is something we're going to get into in later units. As always, along the way, we've got loads of exercises. We've got full, wonderfully produced tracks that we've actually written specifically for this course. So there's absolutely tons we're going to be going through. And it all starts today. And in today's lesson, and at the start of Unit 1, it's all about diving into that 16th note strumming, okay? We're going to give you the ultimate primer for 16th note strumming so that you cannot get it wrong going forward. You will absolutely smash it. In this lesson, we're going to start with exercise 1. And we're going to be going from there. So pick up your guitar, ideally some kind of Strat, but of course anything with a single coil will definitely do you for funk. And let's get started. Hey guys, if you've just joined us here on YouTube for this Funk Essentials quest, then please do go ahead and check out the website. It's all absolutely free. You get the full write-up, you get the tab, the chord diagrams, the scale diagrams, everything you need to get the most out of this course. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to us here on YouTube and leave us a comment. We make sure that we get back to every single one of you. All right then guys, so welcome to this course. And in this lesson, the first lesson, we're going to be starting that 16th note strumming quest. Let's call it a quest because it really is. We're going to be working really hard to get that right hand absolutely autonomous. It will become your metronome. It's your groove machine. It's absolutely constant. And then gradually, once we kind of got the mastery of that at the initial stage, then we can become more subtle with it. Then we can kind of Nile Rodgers it up, right? So there's loads to do. We're going to start with 3 exercises, okay? Now, just to outline something really clear here, the point of what I'm trying to get at here is that I could show you any 16th note strumming pattern. So whether it's one that sounds something like this, or it might sound something like this. Ignoring the different chord shapes. Or it might sound something completely different like this. All of these are completely different strumming patterns, okay? But the same principles are the same. The right hand movement and reading them off a kind of strumming pattern diagram, which is what we're going to be using here today. So let's start with the first exercise. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to have that strumming pattern on screen. We're going to be working with it on screen so you can see it nice and clearly, okay? But the strumming pattern itself sounds like this, okay? So let me just play it through for you guys. We're going to be using an E9 chord, okay? So just really quickly, for those of you who've never played an E9 chord, first of all, I highly recommend checking it out in our Blues Essentials, level 1 and 2. But basically, an E9 chord is a dominant chord. It's got a root, a third, a flat 7, hence the dominant. We've also got the 9th and the 5th, okay? So basically, this is an extended dominant 7th chord because we've added in the 9th. And it's just a very, very common funk chord, especially when you're dealing with the kind of earlier James Brown style funk, which is what we're going to be working up towards here. So this is the chord we're going to be using, and you can fret it like that. You could even fret it like that if you prefer. I'd ideally like to get you with the high E string in there as well. Remember, if you're not sure how to fret this chord or exactly what I'm doing here, head on over to the website. You've got the full diagrams, everything you need, absolutely free on the site. So the pattern is going to be like this. Without any drums for the moment, the first exercise sounds like this. So let's just talk about this for a second here. What you'd have seen me do there needs to correspond to those kind of arrows on the strumming pattern, okay? So the red arrows are the actual times where you hit the strings, and the gray arrows or the lighter arrows are when you are not hitting the strings. Now, there's no more information needed at this point. I know it doesn't sound very funky at the moment, but we'll get to that. We're going to be leveling up. As you know, with all YJ courses, we're just going to level it up gradually, giving you the skills as you need them. So initially, we're all about this right hand consistent movement, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pop on a drum beat. Now, this is a standard 4/4 beat, and I've got it set to 70 BPM. Now, we have to make this a 16th note thing, okay? So in terms of how you would count over that, you need to go like this. I'll count you up, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So notice I've got this count, okay? So the count is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So for a 4/4 bar, so it's 4 beats, so 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're dividing those 4 beats actually into 16. Which is why we get 1E and a, that's 4, 2E and a, that's another 4, 3E and a, that's another 4, 4E and a, okay? That's how you divide a kind of bar of 4 beats into 16, okay? So the first thing I would just get used to doing, and it sounds kind of crazy, but honestly, it's really worth doing. I would just set that to 60 BPM, actually, so rather than 70. And I'm just gonna get used to counting that and moving the arm with that count, okay? So every time I do a different count, I'm either going to down on upstroke and I'm not hitting any strings yet. So just like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a. We need that synchronization between what you're saying and therefore what you're thinking and that right hand movement, okay? We need those two to be synced up as much as possible. Because remember, although when you're actually playing a funk, you're definitely not going to be in your head thinking 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. You're not going to be doing that. I promise you. Okay, but when you first start doing this, to understand the rhythm pattern that's out in front of us, or to learn a rhythm pattern by ear, it really helps to do it like this. Okay, so let's just turn that beat off for a second. So all we then do, once we've got this kind of consistent right arm movement, okay, so if that is so alien to you that this is like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, then just pause the video now, go away, use a drum beat or a metronome. If you've got, I've got this as a prop here, but if you've got an old school kind of literally a physical metronome like this, which I'm just putting up to my microphone so you can hear it, you can use that. This is a really good practice piece. And if you can do it along to a metronome, your rhythm is going to be absolutely solid, rock solid. However, I do tend to like to use drum machines of some kind. So whether you use a physical drum machine or a digital one like this through a Logic or GarageBand or something like that, or obviously our audio tracks, which we'll provide over on the website, it just helps get you in that groove. It helps you hear that kind of backbeat, the snare. Dum, dum, ka. When you hear that, that really helps identify that, okay, that's the 2 or the 4, or the bass drum, that's the 1 and the 3. You really start to get used to that sound because that will be the sound typically you'll play with in funk. So I would just do that. If you're ready, what we're now going to try and do is actually do this rhythm pattern with the drum beat. So the rhythm pattern goes like this, okay? So on the 1E and a, we're doing all hits. 1E and a. Then on the 2E and a, we're doing the arm movement, but we're not hitting anything. That's the gray arrows. 2E and a. On the 3E and a, we're hitting all the strings again. 3E and a. And then the 4E and a, we're doing nothing. 4E and a. Now at this stage, we're not worrying at all about the left hand. So have the chord on, don't worry about any muting or taking it off or changing chord. We're just focusing on that right hand at this point, okay? So we get this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay. And if we try that with a drum beat, it's going to sound like this, okay? Just as a quick note, I'm going to move my pickup selector to the 4th position. So right back here, I don't know if it's 4th or 2nd position actually, but you can see it on the camera. I just think that's a really nice funky tone. Most of the tracks, I either had it there or there. Both really nice sounds, but I love it there, okay? 1, 2, just a side note, 3, 4. So we go 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E, 3 E and 4. One more time. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now, after doing it for a little bit, you're going to start to get the sound into your head, right? You know, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, la 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 la. You start to get the sound into your head, and then as that kind of gradually comes and it seeps into your fibers, then you can stop the count. But for now, you know, I want you to keep the count in there because I want you to train this right hand to never stop. Do not do this. Watch this. This is a very common mistake, especially when you're first starting. Of course, advanced funk players can do this all they like because they've already put the work in. But for us now learning this, never stop. So like this. So don't do that. It's lazy. We need this. 1 E and 2 E and. Okay. Just imagine it is your metronome. It's constantly moving. It keeps you in time, okay? I still do that. When I'm really trying to get into that groove, I make sure that right hand is moving in time with it. And often when you see me play, even when I'm playing lead, I'll quite often, continuously keep that right hand moving even when I'm not actually playing any notes on the neck, because it just helps me keep in time. So that's the first thing. And what I'd say at this point is we're going to be going through 3 exercises here, and that's the first one, okay? And the whole point is between each lesson, you go away and you practice these exercises. You practice them a lot. And it might be a day, it might be a couple of days just to get them together. It doesn't matter. There's no rush here. Everyone's going at their own pace. It really doesn't matter. Some of you might find this easy already because you know a bit of this. For others, it's totally new. So you need to be take a bit more time. But when you're ready for lesson 2, that's when you go over to lesson 2. Okay. So we're going to be practicing. That's the first exercise. So we can see the rhythm pattern, we understand it, and we can now play it with a drum beat at around 60 BPM. It might be 50 BPM, it might be 40 BPM, whatever it is, it doesn't matter at this point as long as you're learning it correctly. Now, let's talk about the second exercise, shall we? So the second exercise, I'm deliberately trying to make them very different, okay? So the second exercise we're going to put up on screen. I'm just getting it up in front of me here. And so for this second exercise, now it's a lot more sparse. So there's a lot more gray arrows, I should say. So we've got the 2 E are in red, and we've got the 4 E, just the E after the 4, that's red as well. So what we want to do just to lay this down is just to count this, and just as we see those red arrows, as we count those red arrows, we're going to hit it. Okay, so this is your second exercise. I'm going to try and do it nice and slowly. 1 E and 2 E. Oh, volume up will be good. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, so at this point, I don't know what this sounds like. I'm just reading off this rhythm pattern by doing nothing more than keeping my right arm moving. And as I say the numbers that are red, I hit the strings. Okay, so we'll do it again. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Okay, so let's do that a little bit quicker. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, oh, we're going to keep the mistakes in. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. So I'm starting to speed that up, and as I do so, I'm starting to hear the sound finally. Now this gets a bit easier as you put it to a drum beat as well, so let's do that. So let's grab our drum beat, we're at 60 BPM again, okay? And let's try this. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. The 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and there we have it. So remember, the point here, guys, is that you're reading from this rhythm pattern. That's the key thing in this lesson, okay? So your right arm's moving, you're reading this rhythm pattern. So it takes a bit of time to get it to a point where you're hearing it. You're hearing it, and you've got those sounds right, and we'll develop that over the next couple of lessons. But for now, be reading it off this chart and trying to do it with a drum beat. So we've got exercise 1, and now I'm not gonna do it yet, I'll come back to that in a second. And then exercise 2, which is that one. And then we've got a third exercise as well. These are the 3 exercises that you need to be practicing before the next lesson. So exercise 3 looks like this. And as you can see, a couple more red arrows this time. In fact, one extra one, but they're kind of nicely spaced out here. So let's just see how we would work with this one. So again, got my E9 chord ready to go. And it sounds like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, you can see my eyes, right? I'm just looking at that rhythm pattern. Okay, I'm looking at it over here on my laptop. So I can see that that's right. I haven't got the sound in my head quite yet. I'm going to do it a few more times to start getting the sound in my head, but this is the process. So let's do it again. I'm going to count myself in this time, just for one beat. 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E. Speed up a bit. E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Let's do it with the drum beat, shall we? Let's get that back on. 60 BPM. 60 BPM may be way too fast for a lot of you guys, and that's absolutely fine. Go down to 40 BPM, okay? So there's 60 BPM. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E, 4 E and a. And there we have it. That is exercise number 3, okay? So I'm going to keep this drum on for a second. I'm going to go through all 3 exercises, and this is something I highly recommend you do. Remember, head on over to the website and you'll find the audio file for these 3 exercises so that you can try and play along, or at least just double check you're getting it right without having to rewatch the whole video. You can see them nice and clearly, okay? Or you can hear them nice and clearly is what I should say. Let's try. So exercise number 1. So here's the rhythm pattern, so you can see that nice and clearly on screen. And it sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. Then we're going to go to exercise number 2, which sounds like this. 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, the 4 E and a. I say that one's the most awkward because it doesn't come in on the 1. That's always a little bit harder. And this one, exercise 3, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And there we have it. So let's stop those drums, as awesome as they sound. And there we go. I'm a little out of breath with all that counting, I have to admit. And like I said, you're not going to be able to count like that during an actual track, but this is all about learning how to do 16th note strumming. So that's your task. 3 exercises, exactly as I just played them with the E9 chord along to some kind of audio file or drum beat, or even a metronome if you want to use that. And that's what you need to learn how to do before we hit the next lesson. All right, that's it from me for this lesson, guys. If you want to head over to the next lesson, all you have to do is click here somewhere. And if you want to start from the beginning of the course, the full playlist is here. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing how you're getting on, and we'll do our best to get back to every single comment or question that you guys have.